George Palikaras has finally spoken up about the MMTLP FINRA fraud issue. So, what exactly did he say? Sit tight as we go through recent news as well as my MMAT chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. George Palikaras was being blamed by investors ever since the market corruption happened for not speaking up. But now he posted a Christmas wish on StockTwits where he said, "Don't confuse silence as inaction." Investors now finally have hope for justice as earlier they were fighting this battle alone, and in our opinion, George's message was the only missing piece from this puzzle. But this does not mean that investors can relax as they still need to keep the tweets, conversations, and pressure coming. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for MMAT, and as always, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get the 5-minute chart. But before we talk about MMAT, as always, we'll first be talking about MMTLP and the updates that I have for you guys. Now, first up, first update, Twitter is full of hope at the moment, right? Ever since the George Palikaras StockTwits post came out, right? Twitter has been filled with hope. Now people are more hopeful than ever because they now finally know for sure that George is definitely working to get things done, right? To get things sorted out. Now, before this, of course, people did believe him, in him, but at the same time, there was a lot of speculation, right? People thought that, hey, maybe George is not working about this. Why is he silent about this, right? People are blaming him. But now we at least know that he's working. And of course, I'm pretty sure that he has some legal obligations. That is why he's not taking it to a public platform to address this situation. But of course, in George's own words, silence does not mean inaction. And that, of course, is what I've been telling you guys all along, that I'm pretty sure George is working behind the scenes. And he, of course, as I already told you, his lawyer must have suggested him that, hey, while this goes on, please do not talk about this online because, anything can happen in the courtroom once you have enough proofs and stuff like that, enough evidences. And of course, if you speak badly of someone, that might add up into the evidences and it might be played out against you. So, of course, that's not legal advice or anything, right? It's just my own opinion. And now, in my opinion, there are two ways that this can go, right? Either, now, of course, first up, Houston Wade made a complete case study of this. So I'll share the link to that in the pinned comment, and you can, of course, go watch that. And of course, for those of you who are not familiar with the entire situation, who are new to the community, it will be easier for you to understand what exactly is going on if you watch that video, right? But then again, based off of that video, we do have a lot of concrete evidence as to how the fraud happened and how all of these official parties were involved in it. And that is why I believe that it might be in those parties, those officials' best interest to kind of give these shareholders, to kind of compensate these shareholders with whatever they're demanding instead of facing a trial. That is, of course, my opinion. So I hope that they will take that same opinion, they will take that same route, and they will hopefully kind of sort things out before they head to the courtroom. Right now, of course, as for Rosa's application in the courtroom, the judge kind of rushed it off. So that, of course, is not a good thing. But I'll link to that tweet as well in the pinned comment, and you can, of course, go and check that out for yourself, of course, so you can have more information about it, right? And you can, of course, give Rosa a follow because she's been doing absolutely wonderful work for the community and, of course, for herself as well as an investor. And now, coming to the third point, and this is the last point before we get into MMAT. And this point, of course, has to do with the protests that we'll be having in pretty much 1 week, right? It's only almost a week left until 3rd January. And if, of course, things do not get sorted until then definitely the protest will take place. It will, you know, attract a lot of media attention, and all of that media attention from blogs, from YouTubers, from social media pages, from Twitter, from actual traditional media, right? It will, because definitely it will hit the news, in my opinion, and because you don't see a protest every single day, right? So, of course, that has to be covered by traditional media, and once it is, it will become a big issue. So, then again, the clock is ticking on the officials. They will have to kind of close this case up, right? Kind of figure it out and compensate the shareholders, as I already said. before this takes the turn for the worst, right? Because this situation in its entirety has affected a ton of people. We're talking tens of thousands of people, right? Tens of thousands of investors, and they've been affected by this quite a lot, right? Some people had literally put in 13, 14, $15,000. Some had put in $100,000, $200,000, right? And they were all waiting for the share to blow up, and of course to give them the return that, well, according to the government's own terms, they deserved, right? Because shorting has unlimited risk, and of course that unlimited risk will not be protected by FINRA or anyone else. That sums it up for MMTLP. Sorry. That sums it up for MMTLP. So now let's get into MMAT. Of course, we do have a bearish sentiment going on ever since we hit the peak over here on 7th December, ever since the stock halting started and the entire MMTLP market corruption happened. Right now, right off the bat, we have a negative pin bar candle over here, which is not a good sign for Tuesday's trading session. This indicates that we might get a bad sell-off on Tuesday, right? Of course, I'm not siding with the shorts. You must have already noticed that, right? This is my basic, or rather just my genuine opinion that I believe Tuesday might shed off a good amount of value and we might get barely supported by the $1 level. And of course, if that happens, it won't be long enough before we get back into the 80-cent range, after which we might be in for a breakout, and then we might be able to go up. But then again, it's a pretty 50-50, or rather 60-40 situation, I would say. 60% of the odds are playing out in the favor of the shorts, of course, and 40% are playing out in our favor. And that's exactly the table that we have to kind of, flip over. And we definitely will do that before the 3rd of January, in my opinion, because, of course, as I already told you, I believe they will have to sort this entire mess up before it turns into a nationwide protest, or not even nationwide, though. It will just be limited to Washington at the moment. But if no action is taken even after the Washington protest, then definitely a lot of people might, get angry. And, well, that won't be a good thing to see, right? That won't be a good sight to behold. Now, with that, of course, if we talk about MMAT, right, we just got drifted away into MMTLP. If MMAT situation gets cleared up, then of course I believe that after hitting the 80-cent level, by this time, if MMAT situation gets cleared up, a lot of volume will likely pour into MMAT, and then we might continue to go up. And as I always tell you, I have a 1-year price target for $10 if everything plays out well, and that at the current price would return almost 9.5x, or pretty much something around that, right? That would be a great return, almost 950%. And with that, of course, now we'll have to jump on into the 1-hour chart to see how exactly we got this pin bar candle on Friday's trading session. And as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-hour chart, and we did get a gap down, right? So we got a gap down over here on 23rd December, which was not that strong, right? It was pretty much just 1.6%, after which we did make a low around this range at 1.08, where we got supported later on, right? And then we just continued a sell-off throughout the entire day. We did get a reversal pattern, which did not work out because it got accompanied, or rather followed up, by a red candle. And we did get some decent volume in the end, which kind of made for the pin bar candle. And of course, if you ask me for levels, well, we don't really have any at the moment, right? Of course, this one did work out, $1.08. Of course, 2 cents down, 1.06, 1.05, 1.04, 1.02. All of these levels are significant because now we're getting to a point where every single cent, every single move will matter a lot for MMAT's future performance. Now, if you ask me where it is headed on Tuesday, I believe we might actually get a gap up on Tuesday, and then that might be converted into a sell-off later on. Of course, will the sell-off be harsh? Well, I believe we'll probably end it between $1.05 and $1, right? Or even from optimism, we might get a gap down and then go up. But in both of these cases, my long-term target, or rather my 1-week target, I would say, before the 3rd of January, I believe the stock will likely be under $1. So that of course is my prediction and my opinion, and I could be wrong, but then let's get into the 5-minute chart so we can analyze this a bit more. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, of course, we can see that the stock definitely has some dry volumes and a volume problem. But at the same time, we can see over here on 23rd, let's see what exactly happened, right? We got a gap down, fell down, got supported around here, right? Dry volumes got supported 1.12, 1.15, 1.16 was a resistance, 1.14 support, 1.12 support, and down over here as well, 1.08 was a support, and we did get some good volume in the ending period, right? Not good volume as in the market sense, but good volume as compared to MMAT's previous trading sessions. And that, of course, is a good thing. If we talk about the 5-minute performance of Tuesday, here's what might happen, right? So if, of course, we get a gap up, as I already told you, it'll have to be somewhere around $1.12 in order for it to get a sell-off. Now, if it's anywhere higher than 1.12, we might actually go up straight, which is an unlikely scenario in my opinion. If we get a gap down around 1.08, we might get a what do you call this, a bull trend. And at the same time, if we get a gap down below 1.08, it might turn into a sell-off as well. With that, remember that I could be wrong, so this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. At the same time, if you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.